She was born into a world of power, wealth, and influence, raised as the beloved daughter of Richard Sinclair, a billionaire whose name commanded respect across industries, yet in a single moment. Everything she thought she knew about her place in this world was tested in the most humiliating way imaginable. Sinclair had never considered herself different from the rest of her family. She had been adopted as an infant, raised in luxury, given the best education, and groomed to take her place among the elite. But on this day, as she arrived at the private airstrip to board the jet she had flown on countless times before, she was met with cold, unyielding resistance from a security team that saw her not as the daughter of a billionaire, but as someone who didn't belong. "Excuse me, miss, Pote. But this aircraft is for Sinclair family members only," the guard said, his eyes scanning her with suspicion, his hand hovering near his radio, as if he were prepared to call for backup at any moment. Eva was confused at first, then amused, thinking this had to be some kind of misunderstanding. But when she reached for her phone to show proof of her identity, the guard's stance stiffened, and within seconds, 2 more security officers approached, their expressions unreadable, their presence suffocating. "Step back, miss. We've been given strict orders." Orders from whom? His father certainly hadn't given them, so who had? She glanced around, hoping to see a familiar face, someone who would recognize her and put an end to this absurdity. But the only person who locked eyes with her was her father's longtime business partner, a man who had always looked at her with something just short of disdain. A man who now stood at a distance, watching the scene unfold with the faintest trace of satisfaction in his eyes. The weight of what was happening hit her like a freight train, and for the first time in her life, we felt the full force of what it meant to be judged by the color of her skin rather than the name she carried. She had grown up surrounded by wealth, privilege, and power, but none of it mattered in this moment. In the eyes of these men, she was just someone who didn't belong. A slow, burning anger bubbled in her chest, but she kept her expression neutral, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing her frustration. "I am Eva Sinclair," she said evenly, her voice unwavering. "This is my father's jet, and I have every right to be here." But the guards didn't budge. One of them even smirked. "We're going to have to ask you to leave the premises, miss." Before this becomes a bigger issue, the audacity of those words made something inside her snap. Eva took a slow breath, her mind calculating the best way to handle this. Knowing that any wrong move could be twisted against her, she could argue, she could plead, she could yell, but none of those would change what was happening. Instead, she reached for her phone, and with a single press of a button, she made a call. The voice on the other end picked up almost immediately. "Dad," she said, her tone calm but firm. "We have a problem." The reaction was immediate. Within moments, a black car pulled up at the airstrip, the doors flung open, and out stepped Richard Sinclair himself. His face a mask of barely contained fury. What happened next would send shockwaves through the entire world, exposing truths no one was prepared to face, and proving once and for all that Eva Sinclair was more than just an adopted daughter. Eva Sinclair was the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went. Not just because of her striking beauty, but because of the effortless confidence she carried herself with, a quiet power that made people take notice. She had been raised in the world of the elite. Sure, the only daughter of billionaire mogul Richard Sinclair, a man whose name alone could open doors, close deals, and shape industries. From the moment she could walk, she was surrounded by wealth beyond imagination, private schools, where tuition cost more than most people's homes, vacations on yachts larger than some cruise ships, charity galas filled with the most powerful figures in the world. She had it all, yet no matter how luxurious her life was, there were moments when she felt like she was on the outside looking in. Richard adored her, raised her with the same love and care he would have given a biological daughter, never once making her feel like she was anything less than his own flesh and blood. But there were whispers in the corners of every ballroom, hushed voices behind closed doors, people who saw her not as the heiress to the Sinclair fortune, but as an anomaly, an exception to the rule in a world where privilege came with a very particular face. She had learned to ignore it over the years, learned to smile through the polite yet cutting comments from Richard's business associates, learned to keep her composure when the media subtly questioned whether she was a truly fit to carry on her father's legacy. And yet, despite it all, Ava had never doubted where she belonged until now. She thought back to the countless times she had sat beside her father on flights in that very jet, the way he would lean over and point out landmarks thousands of feet below, the way they would talk for hours about everything from business to philosophy, the way he always made her feel like the most important person in the world. There was one memory in particular that stood out. She must have been about 10 years old, curled up in one of the plush leather seats, staring out at the clouds when she had turned to him and asked, "Do you think people will ever see me the way they see you?" He had frowned at the question, then smiled, ruffling her hair before saying, "Ava, the world will see you however you decide to show up, and when the time comes, you'll show them exactly who you are." Those words had stayed with her, shaping the woman she had become: strong, intelligent, unshaken by the opinions of others. But now, standing at the airstrip, being told she had no right to board the very jet that had carried her to so many corners of the world, she felt something she hadn't felt in years: a flicker of doubt. The security guards still stood in front of her, unmoving, their presence a silent but firm reminder that no matter how wealthy she was, no matter what name she carried, there were still people who would only ever see her as an outsider. And then her eyes landed on him, Graham Prescott, her father's longtime business partner, a man who had been by Richard's side for decades. He was watching the scene unfold from a distance, arms crossed, a smug, knowing look in his eyes. This was intentional, and it wasn't just about keeping her off the jet. It was about making a statement, a test, a warning. But what Prescott and the rest of them didn't know was that Ava Sinclair wasn't the kind of woman who failed tests. She tightened her grip on her phone, exhaled slowly, and as she hit the call button, she reminded herself of something her father had told her long ago. Power isn't about wealth or status. Power is knowing who you are, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. And in this moment, she knew exactly who she was. She was Ava Sinclair, and this was her world. They just didn't know it yet. Weisimer Corbish, she didn't raise her voice. She didn't even flinch as the weight of the moment pressed down on her. Instead, she pulled out her phone, her fingers moving with practiced ease as she made a single call. The line barely rang once before a deep, commanding voice answered. "Eva? What's wrong?" Richard Sinclair's voice was sharp, alert. He knew his daughter well enough to recognize when something was off. It didn't bother with pleasantries. She turned slightly away from the guards, her voice low but firm. "I'm at the airstrip. Your security team won't let me board." A pause, then dangerous silence. When Richard Sinclair got quiet, it meant something was about to happen. And when he finally spoke again, his words were clipped, controlled. "Stay right where you are." Minutes felt like hours, but Ava didn't move. She could see Prescott still standing nearby, still watching with that smug expression, still waiting for her to slink away in humiliation. Though the security guards shifted uncomfortably, sensing that something was happening, they stood their ground. Then, in the distance, the unmistakable roar of an approaching convoy shattered the tension. Black SUVs rolled onto the tarmac, moving with precision, their engines humming like a warning. The lead vehicle came to a sharp stop, and before anyone could react, the door swung open. Richard Sinclair stepped out, his presence swallowing the space around him. He was a man used to power, used to commanding a room with nothing but his presence, and today was no different. His sharp blue eyes scanned the area, taking in the scene, the security guards, the bystanders, and finally, his daughter standing tall, unshaken. And then he turned his gaze to the head of security. "You stopped my daughter from boarding my jet?" His voice was calm, but there was a lethal edge beneath it. The lead guard stammered, suddenly realizing the mistake he had made. "Sir, we weren't aware." Richard cut him off with a single look. "You weren't aware?" He took a slow step forward, his tone like ice. "You work for me, and you weren't aware of my daughter?" The airstrip was silent. The head of security opened his mouth to respond, but Richard didn't give him the chance. He turned to his assistant, who had just stepped out of the SUV, clipboard in hand. The guards' faces drained of color. One of them sputtered, "Sir, please." Richard didn't even glance at them. "You don't get to humiliate my daughter and keep your job." He turned away, already done with them, already moving to the next issue at hand, because there was still one more person who needed to be dealt with. Graham Prescott. Richard's gaze locked onto the man who had stood by and watched his daughter be humiliated, the man who had always been a little too quick to dismiss UAE meetings, a little too eager to undermine her position in the company. Prescott smirked, as if still believing he could talk his way out of this. But Richard had no patience left. "You knew exactly who she was," Richard said, his voice dangerously low. Prescott opened his mouth, but Richard kept going. "You let this happen because you wanted to send a message, didn't you? That she doesn't belong, that you think you can push her out." A slow smirk pulled at the corner of Richard's mouth, but there was no humor in it. "Well, here's my message to you, Prescott. You're done." Prescott's smirk vanished. "Richard? You've been scheming behind my back for years," Richard continued, stepping closer, his voice never rising but cutting through the air like a blade. "Trying to cut my daughter out of what's rightfully hers. I let it slide because I thought you were just another old fool stuck in his ways. Now, I see you for what you really are, a liability." Prescott's face turned pale. "You can't just remove me. I have." Richard chuckled, a deep, knowing sound. "You have nothing." He turned to his assistant again to make sure Prescott's resignation is on my desk by morning, and if it's not. He glanced back at Prescott. "Well, I'd hate for the board to find out about those offshore accounts you thought I didn't know about." The color drained completely from Prescott's face. He swallowed hard, knowing he had just lost everything. But the biggest shock wasn't that Ava had been stopped from boarding the jet. It wasn't even that Richard had fired the entire security team or taken down Prescott in a matter of minutes. No, the real shock came when Richard turned to Ava, his expression shifting from fury to something else. Something proud. "You weren't just coming on this trip, were you?" he asked, studying her. Ava met his gaze, steady and unwavering. "A no," she said simply. Richard nodded slowly, as if confirming something he had always suspected. Then he turned to the remaining staff on the tarmac. "For those of you who don't know," he said, his voice carrying across the airstrip, "Amy Daughter isn't just a Sinclair by name. As of today, she is taking over an entire division of Sinclair Enterprises." A ripple of shock spread through the crowd. Some gasped, some exchanged stunned glances. Prescott looked like he might pass out. Richard placed a hand on U's shoulder, his grip firm, reassuring. "Dear, if anyone has a problem with that," he said, his tone leaving no room for argument, "you're free to leave, right now." No one moved. No one dared to. Because in that moment, it was clear Ava Sinclair wasn't just the billionaire's adopted daughter. She was power. And the world was about to find out exactly what that meant. The footage spread like wildfire. What started as a humiliating moment on a quiet airstrip was now a global conversation. Someone in the crowd had recorded everything: the way the guards sneered at Ava, the way she stood her ground with quiet dignity, the way her father arrived like a storm and turned the entire situation around in an instant. Within hours, the video was everywhere. Millions of views, thousands of comments. Headlines blazed across social media. "Billionaire's adopted daughter denied access to her own family's jet because she's black." The world watched in disbelief as the footage painted a raw, unfiltered picture of discrimination at the highest levels of wealth and power. News anchors debated the implications. Activists called it yet another example of how deep-rooted bias still thrived in elite spaces. Celebrities weighed in, expressing outrage, solidarity, and admiration for Ava's composure in the face of blatant racism. Keyteas surged to the top of trending lists. #Justice for Ava, #Black Excellence, #Elite Racism Exposed. The Sinclair name, once synonymous with untouchable wealth, was now at the center of a controversy that couldn't be ignored. But Ava wasn't just watching the story unfold. She was the story, and she wasn't about to let it be twisted into a narrative of pity. She released a statement, not as a victim, but as a woman who refused to let discrimination define her. "What happened to me at that airstrip happens to black men and women every day, being questioned, doubted, and treated as if we don't belong. The difference. My story made headlines, but this isn't just my fight. This is about making sure no one else has to prove they deserve a seat at a table they already built." To the power of her words resonated across industries, from Hollywood to Wall Street. CEOs released statements condemning discrimination. Wickes. Luxury brands, airlines, and corporations pledged to reevaluate their diversity policies. And then came the biggest moment of all. Her father, Richard Sinclair, stepped forward in public solidarity. Standing beside Ava at a press conference, he didn't just defend his daughter, he took action. "Well, I built Sinclair Enterprises from the ground up," he said. his voice firm. "But I refuse to stand by while people in my own circle try to tear my daughter down simply because of the color of her skin." He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. "And today, I am committing $100 million to organizations dedicated to fighting racial discrimination in corporate and elite spaces, because if my daughter can be treated this way, imagine how many others go unheard." The announcement sent shockwaves through the business world. The business world. News outlets scrambled to cover the unprecedented move. Some praised him, and some questioned whether money could truly fix a systemic problem. But no one could ignore the message. And through it all, Ava remained poised. She had gone from a girl denied access to her father's jet to a woman who had the world's attention. But this wasn't just about one viral moment. This was about something bigger, and Ava Sinclair was just getting started. Ava Sinclair's story wasn't just about privilege, wealth, or a moment of discrimination. It was about resilience, about fighting for your place in a world that still tries to shut doors on people who don't fit its outdated mold. She had every reason to walk away, to accept that no matter how much she achieved, she would always be questioned. But instead, she chose to stand her ground, to demand respect not just for herself, but for every person who has ever been told they don't belong. What started as a moment of humiliation transformed into a movement. A wake-up call that echoed far beyond the private jet of a billionaire's daughter. She didn't just reclaim her dignity, she forced the world to look in the mirror. The conversation sparked by her experience didn't fade after the headlines moved on. Boardrooms took notice. Policies changed. Even those who had once whispered about whether she deserved to be part of the Sinclair legacy now had no choice but to acknowledge her power. She had always belonged. She never needed anyone's approval, but now the world knew it too. Ava Sinclair wasn't just a girl who was denied access to her father's jet. She was a woman who refused to let the world define her worth. And in doing so, she made history. But now, it's your turn. Have you ever been judged unfairly? Treated differently because of who you are? What would you have done in Ava's place? Would you have spoken up or walked away? Let us know in the comments below. Your story matters. And if you thought this story was shocking, like and subscribe to our channel. And just wait until you hear about what happened in this next case. Stay tuned. You won't believe what happens next.